All right, so we got a Maple Memo update on the January GMS roadmap. Is that already from January? Man, that's already 4 months ago. As you may recall, we shared our roadmap in the first half of 2022 in our memo. We do remember that. Finally, they are starting to do that, copying KMS in a good way. Since it's been about 3 months, we'd like to... 3 months, of course, yeah. Update on the roadmap and confirm the status of contents, changes, and events mentioned. We've also elaborated on some of the notable points below for more information. All right, tell us. Let us know. April 2022, Blooming Forest anniversary update, so we'll look into that in a little bit. June 2022 Explorer Redux, is that what they're calling it? Okay. Just basically Red 2.0. Job balances, Starlight Symphony event. Okay, so that's all just the regular Destiny stuff, basically, right? Additional revamps to boss rewards, so that's the stuff that quote-unquote should have come out if we followed the same roadmap as KMS. What would have come out with the winter update, but that we skipped and instead gave us like 6 extra months of Kishin so that you guys can make money, make bossing mules, and then really cash in. So that's like 6 months slower. But I think because it makes sense to me because KMS wanted to do the thing with the variable crystal prices, and it seems other servers that have gotten it after that, they just go into whatever the prices were in KMS and they just copied that rather than also do the variable prices for those servers. Which is weird, since the variability of the prices has to do with the specific economy of the server, and they're basically saying like the economy of the KMS server gets to decide what it should be worth on everyone else's economy, which feels a little weird, but you know. New level 250 equipment set, the Ethernel stuff, kind of skill adjustments, so like the Kishin. Most likely, we still don't know 100%, but most likely just getting TMS Kishin. And then lower Starforce announcement cost by 20%. So that's not like an event or something. That's just the standard price of all Starforcing is going to go down by 20%. And then Reboot World Intense Power Crystal price increase from 3x to 5x compared to non-Reboot. And Aurora, Barra, Elysium, Luna, Scania Worlds, yeah. And then July, we've got Kalos. So that's basically the extension of Destiny, like part 2 or part 3. Probably part 2, because GMS tends to do things in fewer parts than KMS does it. KMS usually has more individual big update releases. GMS tends to cluster those a little bit. The player housing content, I think we looked at that at some point. I think that is something that TMS has as well, with the possibility for some buffs for your account. Almost like a secondary mini Legion. It's basically almost like having a event buff that's just going to be on all the time, depending on what you select within the house stuff. But we'll have to see the details on when that comes out, of course, but it's going to be July, so that's a little bit further away. And then the continuation of the Starlight Symphony event, that's basically just part 2 of Destiny. So this is what it's going to look like, I guess. So the big Explorer revamp from Destiny, this we'll get into in a little bit. All the big job balancing. Yeah, that's one of the major things, is that the Absolab and the Arcane stuff is not going to drop straight up anymore. It's going to be a box instead, weapon boxes and armor boxes, and you'll be able to pick what you want from the boxes. So expect some big changes. We already knew that, of course, but like expect some big changes especially on the cost of weapons in non-reboot. That's going to go all upside down real quick. It says kind of skill adjustment specifically just for Kishin. I hope that part of job balances is also Kana, Hayato, Beast Tamer, and Jet stuff. And that it's just not mentioned here specifically. And we will probably have to look at Maple C to see what they get, because they tend to get the update just before us, typically like 3 weeks or so before us, and then we will be able to see what kind of stuff they're getting that will most likely be copy-pasted over for us. And more, always, okay. And then we have Kalos, the big cyber doggy. And then the player house thing, where you basically build your own house. And then the big old Starlight Symphony Destiny update event. Okay, as you may have already seen from the update preview post, we have not seen that yet, but we'll look at that in a little bit. The 17th anniversary is just around the corner, which is basically last year's KMS 18th anniversary, of course, and then all of the 18s just changed into 17s. We're inviting our Maplers to the Blooming Forest, where you can play mini games and earn special functional and cosmetic rewards. For more information, please look. Yeah, we'll do that. Explorer Redux, Explorer Jobs will undergo a revamp this summer, which we hope will achieve the following goals: strengthening each class's unique characteristics, modernizing the combat patterns, and enhancing skill growth experience. Here's a list of the explorers that will have their skills revamped. I mean, it's all of them. And to an extent, even though they just say class balancing, the class balancing for some of the classes that goes together with the Explorer revamp is like, or the Explorer Redux, whatever they want to call it, is actually more of a redoing of the class than what some of the explorers actually got. It's not because they're mentioned here specifically as the explorers that they will be changed more than the other characters that are just getting skill rebalancing, because some of the skill rebalancing is very, very extensive. There's much more to come in addition to highlighted such as updated Explorer storyline, updated V matrix, and we'll share more information when we're closer to the update release. The updated V matrix, are they talking about what KMS just got? If that's something they could early release, that would be kind of cool. Hopefully we can kind of catch up and do the thing that we were doing again, right? Because like the general pattern is like for non-seasonal stuff we're about 4.5 months behind KMS, for seasonal stuff about 6 months behind, and then for anniversary and yearly stuff, holiday stuff, we're about a year behind. Which is easy because they can just copy paste the last one over, just translate it, boom, done. But it seems that they were kind of experimenting with some stuff that we would get it like within 3 months or so, like pretty close behind KMS, and that they would release some of those things very early, you know, if the code allowed it. But it seemed that we haven't had any of that stuff recently. Plus, we actually got more behind, you know, on the boss changes. They could be talking about just, I don't think they're talking about the boost nodes changing, I think. Updated VMatrix sounds a little bit more extensive, but it could be. Additional revamps to boss rewards. During June update, we will revamp the boss rewards. Some of those changes will be included. Absolute and Arcane Umbra equipment items will drop in an armor and weapon box. The box will drop at an increased rate from defeating higher tier bosses. Willscar's Spellbook and Mitra's Rage will also drop in a box, so you get to pick which one you want. So if it's, you'll basically have, instead of you get the strength book, you get the dex book, we'll just have like priority on loot on who gets the next book or who gets the box, and that person just, you know, opens the box and picks whatever book they want, you know. Rewards has a 50% bonus EXP coupon voucher, which is like an MVP that stacks with your regular experience coupon, and sparkling red star potions, blue star potions. It's basically the drops that they already added to the slime. At that time, those were supposed to be added. Basically, I think it's the Lotus and Damien and everything stronger, but they didn't do that yet because of the whole boss drop revamp, except that slime only has this drop table. So this is the one that they had to implement, so those drops have already kind of snuck into the game because of that. Kind of skill adjustments, as previously announced in the January 13th Maple memo. Man, that's already 3 months ago. During our June update, we plan to remove the monster respawn timer, time-altering effects of Kishin Shokun's skill and replace it with... They still specifically say monster respawn time-altering effects. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they just said enhanced spawn effect or something. Because they're really specifically just mentioning one of the two again. And this is just going to create some more confusion, I think. They should just say like Kishin is no longer going to affect spawn in any way, and then right, because if you say specifically time respawn time altering effect, it really sounds like you're only nerfing the respawn time one, and not the extra monster spawn power. But yeah, from all the contact I've had with Ghibli, she basically said like, I don't know the details. The team doesn't actually know the details because it's just going to get copied in. But it seems that it's most likely that we're just going to copy whatever other regions have. And so it's most likely just going to be a copy paste of the TMS Kishin that they have. When this change was first announced, quite a few of you wondered about how this might affect the future of Wild Totems. We'd like to inform you that we have no plans to make changes to Wild Totems at this time. I think that was pretty self-evident. They already said Totems... any kind of totems that are not going to work anymore past like in level 300 plus areas that of course are not out yet, but that will be out at some point, but you'll be able to use them all the way up to 300. So yeah, wild totem value, extra kanas on your second computer can become totem mules, you know, maybe sharing really big maps with people, doubling up on totems, who knows. There's going to be some interesting concepts hopefully getting attempted. I just wish that at the end of this, we come up with a bunch of different meta options of keeping the ball rolling, and that people get creative and come up with stuff to do instead of focusing on the Kishin no longer destroying the entire game, or ruling the entire game, I guess, to be a little bit more neutral. And we'll elaborate on the overall skill adjustments further in our June update patch notes. Okay, so I guess they're kind of alluding to multiple changes coming to Kana, not just this one. And the player housing content, My Home is coming this summer to all worlds. My Home is new content where level 200 and above Maplers will have their very own house. In MapleStory, you can decorate your house with furniture and use various features it provides, such as storage. Wait, storage. Okay, will Reboot players actually be able to store some equips in there so that we have extra storeroom for all of those backups for a rainy day that we're holding on to, which clutter our inventory so much? Music player, invitations, and much more. You can invite other Maplers from the same world to come to your house, or you can visit your friend's house if it's set to public, regardless of them being online or not. We hope you will utilize this personal living space to further show off your unique styles, fashion story on the next level, and to socialize by holding socially distanced hangouts with friends and guildmates. Okay. That's all we wanted to share about the upcoming patch of July 2022. I would also like to inform you that our MapleStory team has been working towards releasing GMS roadmaps at a regular cadence going forward. Starting this June, we plan to share GMS roadmaps covering the high-level contents and changes within the next 3 to 4 months every quarter. You can expect a roadmap Maple memo during the following months, late March, June. So new one in June, and then wait. So late March that's this one. April 22nd, is that late March? Sorry. Late June, late September, and then late December or early January. Okay. Please note that since plans may change due to unforeseen circumstances, there is room for the roadmap to be slightly delayed, or we may post the mid-update to inform you of changes the proposed timeline. Sure, we'll try to avoid such situations if it were to happen. We would appreciate your understanding and patience. Oh, you would you? We have these roadmaps will assist with providing clarity on the upcoming contents plans and avoiding confusion about when certain contents will be released in GMS. Our MapleStory team will continue to work towards providing advance notice and on contents and changes throughout the year. Mjolnir and MapleStory team. I mean, this is mainly the thing. It's weird that we haven't had this for like the past 5 years, but this is the main thing. When people talk about communication on the stuff that's coming, like, just let us know a little bit, just like in general. And then the closer you get, the more detail you get. This way you can build hype. This way you can, you know, make the people feel like there's really cool stuff on the way. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like this should have been a thing for a long time. And of course, some events we already know, and then people are going to start doing some investigative work. They're going to look at TMS stuff and look at Maple C stuff, and then Steve can get some views on all of this shit. You know, like, it'll become like one cohesive unit. You know. So that's I mean, I think that's pretty cool.